Let's talk about it. Tech Twitter and tech YouTube is going crazy about the controversies surrounding the iPhone 15 Pro Max and 15 Pro. But there's a lot of things to be clarified, and it's about to get real. So let's talk about it. So you may have seen a lot of things bubbling around, heating concerns, overheating, and so forth. One thing I will say to put things in perspective, a lot of these creators that are complaining about overheating have the non-US international variants. You know, the iPhones that still have a SIM card. I don't know if this has anything to do with it, because essentially there's slightly different internal hardware. I don't know if that's the culprit or not, but I've done FaceTime calls for hours with my bros in my group chat. No overheating. I've shot ProRes log footage outside. That's the only time that I felt the phone get on the upper warm side, but still I haven't had it overheat. Now, for full clarity and transparency, I will say that when I first got the 15 Pro and I was using a MagSafe charger, trying to get it to full, 100% capacity before I started using it and testing it, I did have it reach a point where it said that it will pause the charging and continue once it cools down. That's the only time. And I was at initial setup. When you're doing the big setup and everything, the phone was already hot before I put it on the charger. I put a hot phone on a wireless MagSafe charging situation. And that's the reason why I believe I even got that message. But there's also the reality that every time Apple releases a new product, people are searching for the gate. They gotta have something hot, a hot take, or something that's wrong with the iPhone, because controversy brings views. Controversy sells. Although I'm not trying to question every creator's motives, but some of them, it's quite clear to see that they're doing this and pushing this narrative to run up the views. And there's also a mob of people who dislike Apple, and they're just waiting for something bad, and they're gonna come running because it's Apple season. So, Android users need something to talk about and laugh about and enjoy, and any controversy around the iPhone is the place for them to be. I saw someone claiming battery concerns. Listen, if anyone's saying anything about battery on a phone or device that they have not had for at least a week or two, I would honestly prefer the 2-week battery update versus the week. But all of these devices have AI or learning, all of them. The latest Android S23 Ultra even tells you it's optimizing your battery to your usage in the beginning days. So anyone jumping to any conclusions on battery at this current moment that has not had this device pre-embargo, I would highly question their credibility at this point. Now, I want to say that I'm not invalidating their claims. I believe some of them to be very truthful and real. Like Siobhan was saying, when he was using CapCut video editing, which is high intensive, use cases, the device was getting hot. I could respect and, understand that, because at the end of the day, these are microcomputers and slim, small chassis, and it's hard to dissipate that heat, especially when you're doing high-end, graphical use cases. This is this A17 Pro, they added an extra core. These things are almost like M2, M1 chips, slightly, brought down, but at the end of the day, if you look at the benchmarks, they're very close to that of an M2 or M1. It's nuts. But then again, I saw someone who's an American creator, but they're in Australia to pick up the device, and they claim that they're not experiencing the overheating either. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that really quick, because some people are getting nervous. Now, there's one more area to discuss, and that's around the durability and the titanium and so forth. Everyone saw the video, right? Now, when it comes to the siding and the color variants for scratching, if you guys did your research on titanium, stainless steel is more resistant and less showing to scratches than titanium, especially colored titanium. So know this, if you're someone who may end up scratching your device, or you're very rough, or you don't use a case and things like that, you may want to steer away from the colored titanium variants and look at the natural titanium, because even in the videos of the durability test, this variant showed the least amount of horrendousness when it came to scratching. Now, when it comes to the back glass on the Pro Max and bending it, it's not a natural action, but there are situations where you could possibly put pressure in that area. The back glass is cheaper to replace, but putting pressure, 2 thumbs right here, all of your pressure is there, it's gonna snap it. Now, I have seen drop tests with these devices shattering and breaking. It's glass. I have yet to see a glass that's unbreakable. But again, the 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max, those things I've seen a drop test, they were looking quite indestructible. So it's a new design. There's gonna be, growing pains with that. I'm not giving any apologies, but let's see real world users get these devices. Let's see them go through, the woes and let them report. And as time develops, we'll really know about the true concerns and durability and battery with these devices, but it's very early and it's a little too early to tell. So if you have any concerns, press pause, player. Now let's get into my days of usage. It's about 4 days now, probably 5 when you see this, with the iPhone 15 Pro Max and 15 Pro. I've been using these exclusively side by side with one another. There's some separations in between the two that we need to discuss and we'll get into, but there's the reality that my user experience, me personally, it's been good. I haven't had any overheating, any battery concerns, or any durability drama. With that being said, this device right here, the 15 Pro Max, is the boss hog iPhone to get. Now, if you are in for the 15 Pro, it's a beast too. There's many reasons and justifications for going with this. The smaller size, the lighter weight, and you don't care for the camera pro features that are in the 15 Pro Max. And from a design perspective, so far, the titanium, even though it's not full titanium, it's a titanium mix and an aluminum layer, the weight reduction is well received by me. I appreciate it. Although, let's be realistic, if I'm comparing this to last year's model, the weight reduction is only 19 grams. It's not significant enough for you to just go run out going crazy, but the weight reduction in combination with the weight distribution makes these devices feel extremely light, and I'm not complaining about it, especially if you just use it in its straightforward form. But let's be realistic. You guys are gonna get cases, screen protectors, and you might throw a wallet on the back of this bad boy. You will essentially be weighing it down with those accessories, but at least you are 19 grams less when doing it. And that's a plus to this device from a design perspective. Let's take a look. I've been using these things. I've even been putting them in and out of cases. I've been, using them. And I haven't been abusing them, but I've been using them. And I don't have any issues yet. Let me not say yet, but I know the reality. Like me, I tend to run these devices without cases and I push them and I get scratches. I get little nicks and dings. I drop my devices. I'm human. Just prepare for your use cases. So if you need a case, get a case. If you want a screen protector, get one. Now, if I want to talk about the OLED panel, this display, 2000 nits peak brightness, no difference than what we had last year. These OLED panels are just as good as they were before. So unless you're coming from an older iPhone, you're not really gonna be like, seeing the upgrade or the improvement. But if you are coming from those older devices, welcome to the dynamic island. Welcome to the 15 Pro Max, because you're feeling the upgrade. And if you went from a smaller, screen panel to a larger, let me know how you're enjoying it or not. Maybe not. If you went from the 15 Pro to the 15 Pro Max, let me know your experience down in the comment section below. And vice versa, if you went from a Pro Max to a Pro this year, I want to hear it down in the comment section below. I made a video comparing these two, splitting up the differences, if you guys want to see that comparison to help you decide. Now, the next reality over these last couple of days that I've been interacting with a lot is iOS 17. iOS 17 has been quite smooth for me. It's been an actual cool user experience. The only small iOS 17 bug that I've had, which only occurred to me like one time, maybe twice, was I keep these devices in close vicinity. I turned it off, but when you have the next to iPhone and it does the automatic like AirDrop connection, like having it connected, sometimes I've like closed the connection, but in the dynamic island kind of had that animation, be a little stubborn about leaving. That was just like one time. But outside of that, my smoothness, my platform is fire. Like, look at this, like the grocery list, the updates, like a lot of the newer things that you can do with the iOS 17 is phenomenal. And then that leads us here to the action button. Oh boy, the action button takes this iOS 17 experience to the next level. If there's something about this device that separates it from all of the previous iPhones, it's this very button. Now, if you're gonna just use it for like a flashlight, to mute, or any of the typical things, then no. But if you get into the shortcuts, that's where this button shines. If I hold it, I get a menu. Quick actions. Turn off the studio light. Press it down again, turn on the studio light. I can turn on my speaker system, turn them off. A lot of things that I do often. You can unlock and lock your smart home lock if you got one of those. You can arm and disarm your smart home security system if you have one of those. You can do a lot of different things with this. I have certain camera apps that I want to open. I spelled Blackmagic Camera wrong. Don't, talk about me down in the comment section. I'm gonna have to go fix that, matter of fact, because y'all YouTube police, y'all are annoying. Y'all always running around looking for something to critique and stuff. Players mess up. Give me a break. Oh, I messed up again, man. See, trying to talk and look at y'all while I was typing. All right, boo. So using the shortcuts alongside this action button takes it to the next level, and it adds to the user experience highly. Now, if you're not gonna use it, if that's gonna wear off after the honeymoon phase, it's not even worth mentioning or discussing. But if it's something that you could really use in your everyday life, trust me, it's adding to the user experience tremendously. And the action button on the Apple Watch Ultra is the same get down because I have it connected to that same shortcut, so I can do that at the wrist. If you don't have the latest 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max, well, you can do it with Apple Watch Ultra if you have that. Just saying. Okay, the next area I must speak on is cameras. That was a big part of the Apple keynote segment, especially in the world of the 15 Pro Max. The camera upgrades this year in hardware, software, and abilities are great. Even if you're just gonna use it at the basic level of just snapping photos with the natural algorithm and the natural camera app, you're gonna get great results. But if you take it a step further and you get into like the ProRes log video, which you can do native in the iPhone 15 Pro Max. All right, so right now I'm shooting front-facing camera, ProRes log. Now my players right here, C-Kid and Terry, they're having a debate as to whether or not ProRes log is practical or if it makes sense. We gotta have fun, man. But, is anyone using ProRes log? And the people that are they appreciative for it? Because, it's a debate. Like, Because, you know why? Because I don't have to build a contraption to use ProRes. So, yes, I could use it, like, way easier. Like, literally, all I got to do is open my camera app and press record. What's the question?
After the review period is over, the honeymoon phase is over with, are you actually ever going to use ProRes on your phone again? That answer is unequivocally no.
Okay, no. You know why I can answer actually yes? Because when I saw the... Listen. Did you see the quality of the 5X with the ProRes? That's next level. So, like, right now, I'm testing ProRes on the wide and on the selfie camera because I didn't know you could do log on those until like later after I had did the 5X. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna look at this footage and the quality of this footage is gonna tell me if I'm gonna be using it or not. Every time I use my camera, it's in S-Log. It's one click to color grade. Even on Final Cut, it's one click.
Right, but you know the differences quality-wise between what your camera can give you and what your phone can give you. So you telling me that in a situation where you want to shoot log, you're going to use your phone on
So okay, let me ask you this. Do you ever use your phone to get little B-roll shots and times when you don't have a camera or you don't want to pull out the camera?
I don't.
You don't?
I always have my camera.
Well, first of all, we talking to Sony Alpha Terry over here. Of course he got an Alpha on him. Like, come on.
There's a twofold question here.
Okay.
So, if you just had...
I'm probably going to run out of storage before this combo is over, but we got it. That's the other downside to it. All right, regular camera shot. Since my bro Terry told me I had to do what I did with the ProRes, with the regular camera app, which Apple has a great algorithm this year, so we're gonna see. So this is front facing, and then I'm gonna switch it to the rear. All right, this is the rear facing, just normal camera, nothing else different. The only thing is I don't have ProRes log on. So we're gonna see how this compares to ProRes log, and is there a true difference? Same situation, same sun, same setup. So let's see. So as you saw, I showed you guys some results, some discussions, and to be honest, I went with a 512 gigabyte model just because I knew that I wanted to be able to take advantage of those features without having to, suffer the "you're out of storage" message, which is not good for your device and your internal storage. Bravo to Tim Apple and the iPhone crew over there. I personally prefer pro video, pro camera settings and access. I personally want Apple to add a native pro video and pro camera mode in their camera settings. It just makes it easier. But if you need one, you can get the Blackmagic one, which is free, which is why that's in my drop down menu and is number 1 under, the mute switch, because I use this. And this is for video specifically. And I use, DaVinci Resolve for editing as well. But I do wish we had one natively, because Apple does really well with their native apps and just making it optimized and easy to use. But when I put things in proper perspective, Apple's all about ease of use, and the way that the camera app is now is ease of use in mind. And I guess if you want something pro, you just gotta go third party. Okay, battery life. Now, it's too early. It is too early. Unless the person speaking on battery to you guys has an embargo unit, meaning they've had this device for 2 weeks plus now, I would not listen to anyone's battery hot take on any of these devices. People like me who are still having their device learn their battery patterns cannot speak on battery fully and thoroughly. But what I can do is speak on my previews of battery life from what I've seen thus far in between the two. At the end of the day, the 15 Pro Max is gonna give you the better battery life over the 15 Pro. The 15 Pro has decent battery life, but you can drain it and destroy it. The same thing on the 15 Pro Max. You can drain it and destroy it easily depending on your actions. I was doing a FaceTime call, like I showed you guys with my bros, and we were talking about ProRes, log, and all that. So I did a FaceTime call for an hour plus, then I ran outside. I'm doing ProRes log on a 15 Pro Max just to, prove a point and continue our discussion. And I destroyed the battery on this device, but I'm doing high-end, high-intensive tasks back-to-back nonstop. Just in general, like how I feel over these, last 4 days of using this device, the battery life doesn't feel any different from my 14 Pro Max. I mean, my 14 Pro Max battery is degrading just fine, but everyone has a different user experience and use case, and I've seen percentages out there, and respectfully, they are there. But the 13 Pro Max is another battery that was just like crazy. It was like 13 Pro Max here, then we got the 14 Pro Max in the beginning. iOS 16 was terrible, then it started, leveling out. And for me personally, it felt no different. Coming into the 15 Pro Max, as of right now, it doesn't really feel much different. I know it's still optimizing, but I still feel like I'm using a Pro Max iPhone, if that makes sense. And that's as far as I will go now, and I will reconvene this conversation in my long-term, 1 week, 2 week review. Now, what I want to talk to you guys about next is my user experience so far with these 15 Pro and 15 Pro Maxes, and it's been good. iOS 17, my overall experience, if you can't tell from my tone and my enthusiasm, I mean, I'm enjoying these devices. Then there's nothing wrong with that. Like, listen, bro, the tech space is getting out of hand. People get mad to see someone having a good time with their tech device that's not the platform or device that they're using. For what reason, I will never know, because I don't have those internal feelings. I don't see someone on some other platform that's outside of my preference and feel like, oh my God, I can't believe they're liking that. Like, oh, how could you? If you're happy, I'm happy. And right now with the iPhone 15 Pro Max as my main device and with the 15 Pro as my business device, I'm still happy. I am enjoying the current experience. Right now, yes, it's the honeymoon phase. Let's be real. That's why I keep these devices and I do long-term reviews and see if the energy is the same. But the energy that I'm not feeling is this controversial gate-finding energy. It happens every year. It's like clockwork. Oh, it's interesting if you really listen to some of these people with all of these hot takes and, concerns and drama patterns, you'll realize that Are they really concerned? Is the drama really real? Are all the views just that good? My name is CJ, this is CJ Knows Tech. This is the Tech Corner where I keep it real in these streets. I don't have no reason to fabricate and finesse just for the platform. Although it's tempting. Now, titles, I make them enticing. But the content will never be that. And by that, I mean the cap. Yeah. Ooh. You technology snobs, I done just about had it with all of y'all. Listen. Duck.
New watch, no diamonds, no watch, good timing, yeah. New watch, no diamonds, no watch, good timing, yeah. Need no middleman, I'm the man, send it in. I like what I like, me, I know my rights, is sipping in. I like having fun, I do what I want, it's what it is. For my son and son, for my daughters, yeah, it's for my twin. I work through the night.